What's going on, you guys? JT, PrecisionStriking.com. What does it mean to transfer your weight in boxing? We are transferring our weight to get power into the shot. I think when most people think about transferring their weight, like when I think of a transfer, I think of something going from one place to another. So I'm gonna transfer my weight. It seems like I should be doing something like this, like transferring my weight, taking it from one place and putting it to another. And in some ways you are doing that because there are a few ways to generate power in your punch. And that's really the main question is, how do I generate power in my punch? Not necessarily maximum power, but how do I generate any kind of power whatsoever? So there are two main ways to transfer weight to generate power in your punch, or there's two main ways to generate power for a punch. One of them is I take my body from here and I move it towards the target here. And there are a few different variations with the feet to do that, but I'm taking this weight and moving it into a target with the punch to generate impact. The other way, which is very common, is rotation. Here, I rotate the body. Rotation can take on a number of variations of full-on pivot to just a little quick burst with the shoulders. That's why I think there's a lot of confusion out there of how to throw a lead hook or how to throw this punch, because it seems that, well, it's either all one of do it just the whole way or it's nothing at all, when really there are many variations in between there. So these are the two ways to transfer weight. Let me break down a few more details involved there so you kind of understand it a little bit better. Now, before we go further on into the video, if you want to learn boxing, detailed boxing from the ground up, make sure to check out the membership on this channel. Beginner lessons, beginner workouts, and more advanced training camps for those who want to get into shape. Links below, that's the join button on the channel. Okay, we are trying to transfer our weight. We are trying to generate power. Let's go over the first way, which is clearly a transfer of weight and some of the variations. Here, I'm in my stance. I'm in my position, whether I'm moving or stationary. I want to take the weight of my body. If I can take weight and move that into an object or into a target along with extension or whatever else I'm doing, I can generate force. This force that I'm taking from my body is going into the target. So from here in my stance, all you're going to do is just take a step forward with that front foot. I take weight and I put it forward. Now, that little step will be accentuated by a drive or a push or a force coming off the back leg. So it's not like I'm just going like that, although that can work. From here, I'm taking that little step, drive off the back leg. Right? And that's one way you transfer weight into your target, by just taking a forward step with that front foot, driving off the back leg. Now the next way, I want to drive harder, more force. I take my whole body and I drive it and push right into the target, both feet. So from here, push off that back leg, both feet. Right? And this is going to generate more power. There's more weight coming through. I've fully committed my body coming through. I drive off that back leg here and I transfer weight right into that target with the timing and with the extension of the punch. Now the third way is to take a small step with the back foot first and get all of my body moving, create some momentum. This isn't always the best way. It telegraphs a little bit what you're doing. At least it tells the opponent that you're coming. They know you're coming. They don't know what you're coming with necessarily. But from here, you can generate even more force with a back skip and driving that foot in. So here. And then you can even go with that back foot and then drive both. Right? You can go like so. You already get some momentum. Right? Like somebody running and throwing and really driving with that back leg. So from here. So this is more clearly a transfer of weight. You really see that weight of the weight of your center of your gravity moving from one place to another. Taking those feet, those three different footwork variations, the front, both, and then the back skip, and then the back skip with both, and driving them forward. And you can generate power in your punch, either the jab or even the right hand straight punches, by transferring that weight and moving forward. Now the second one is rotation. And I guess you could say that rotation is a transfer of weight, or really it's just a movement of weight. So if I go here and rotate, there is pressure on that front foot. It has to hold me in place. So there is sort of a weight there, but I would almost say it's more like a force that you've generated. And this is the counter force holding you in place so that you don't go like this. Or if I don't have that front leg and I go, then I'm just going to keep going into a turn. So when you think of transfer, we are transferring force through rotation. But it's not necessarily a shifting, right? Although you can do both, which we'll cover in a few seconds. So you want to understand and master this, which is here. It's a drill that I always demonstrate and have gone back for years showing, is I'm going to pivot. Set that heel down. Pivot. This is to understand the rotation. This is the full motion. Now, you don't have to work that full motion to generate force. You can even work a partial motion. Like when you see a lot of pros throwing that punch, they get so much power just out of small hip and shoulder rotation. They don't always have to do this full-on hip and the full-on pivot. But it's good to teach a beginner this, because you want a beginner to understand the rotation, understand the axis of rotation and the balance, right, to get that power. So from here you work pivot, 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 rotation, rotation. And then you can even, right, just shorten it up. And you see that power comes from rotation. Now, rotation by itself isn't the only thing that generates power. It's actually the acceleration, and how fast. It's the velocity and the acceleration and the timing and everything all put together. But rotation is the movement pattern that is going to generate that force. So from here, just understanding pivot, pivot, pivot. This is going to help you understand how to generate power through rotation. All right, the third one, combining the two. I can take weight and move it forward and turn like so. So from here, I step. That could be the jab. I step, or I'm driving off that back foot. And then, boom, right? There is always a drive off the back foot. It's not a push like so, but it's a force. It's an applied force. Boom, like so. So from here, you can see I use both. I'm going to transfer my weight and rotate. Same like here with the gazelle punch. Here, I move my weight forward and turn to the shot. It's not that you're necessarily going to get double power, but you will get more power by transferring and working the rotation at the same time. So that's something you can work on. From here, boom, that's it, 1, 2, or 2, 3, learn to move your weight forward. That initial transfer we talked about while working rotation at the same time. Transfer of weight, transferring your weight to get power in your punches. I hope this video explains it, breaks it down a little bit better, helps you understand it in your mind. You don't have to understand it to do it well. You can do it well and be clueless as to how the mechanisms of how it's working. Because as long as you have the movement and the athleticism, you can make it work. You don't have to understand what's behind it. But this might help you understand it a little bit better so that you know what to focus on. Driving, rotation. Driving and rotation. You understand what you're working on and what you're trying to perfect so that you can get the power and the balance that you need to be effective in boxing. Alrighty guys, don't forget to check out the membership on this channel. Boxing lessons, workouts, training camps, video reviews. It's all there. Link below. Join button on the channel. In the meantime, keep your hands up, chin down, eyes on the prize. Peace!